Hi everybody. It's been a while. I would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope that you had a Merry Christmas and that you had a safe New Year. I am starting out the series with spirit guides. That's what we're going to talk about this evening. Last night a blog post came out to kind of give you an idea of what we'll be talking about this evening. And in what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to present the various different viewpoints from various different research perspectives on what spirit guides are and what their purpose is and how they communicate with us and what they do. And then I will go into my own personal experience with spirit guides. I'm going to adjust the camera really quick, so I apologize. Okay, so the word spirit guide is used to explain a type of entity or an entity that protects us and guides us. That's the technical definition. Some feel that spirit guides hold ancient wisdom and that they are actually incarnated humans who lived many past lives, have paid their debt to karma, and have advanced past the need for reincarnation. Also, along those same lines, there are some who feel that they were in fact once human and that they lived, went through their daily tasks, died, and crossed over, and that they've been given the choice whether they can reincarnate or whether they can stay in spirit form. And those that stay in spirit form bring the expertise from all their past lives so that they can help us with our own situations. Others believe that they're angelic in nature. And then there's still even others that believe that they're just simply energy or light beings that reside on a higher plane. Some feel that spirit guides are assigned to us even before we're even born, and that their opinion of this indicates that they're placed with us at birth. And then those same people that believe that they're placed with us at birth believe that as we grow, we accumulate more spirit guides into our team, quote unquote. The purpose is obviously to guide us and to direct us. Collectively, all the research that I've looked at points to them as being their prime goal as being comforters or giving advice, and that they come through when problems arise. Their main purpose also collectively is believed that they are to help us, watch over us, and enhance our overall human experience. They act as supports, helping us accomplish personal goals and our soul's mission. For those that believe in reincarnation, our guides help us maneuver through the amnesia of incarnation. Reincarnation causes us to forget our past lives or our past experiences. If you are a believer in the ability to reincarnate, then you also believe that there is an amnesia that occurs when you reincarnate. You cannot remember your past lives without assistance. However, some people learn of their past lives, especially when they're young, through dreams. But what this says and how this relates to spirit guides is that spirit guides connect with us so that we can understand more about our past lives due to the amnesia that we suffer when we reincarnate. So communication. How do they connect with us? There are vast amounts of diverse information and research on this subject as well. Some say that our random thoughts are our spirit guides trying to pop through. Most feel that it is very possible for us to see, hear, and sense the presence of our spirit guides. As a group, in the research that I've looked at, it's felt that one doesn't need to be a psychic to communicate with a spirit guide. In other words, you don't have to have a special gift to get in touch with one of your spirit guides or all of them. It's determined and also collectively believed that we all possess a sixth sense that allows us to communicate with things that are not seen and that we don't hear with our naked hearing, so to speak. So my advice would be not to brush off any feelings or thoughts that don't make sense. If you've been exploring the ability to communicate with a spirit guide or your spirit guides, they may be dropping things into your spirit randomly. So don't dismiss those weird random thoughts that come into your head. Many of us, and I believe all of us, possess some type of a gift of the spiritual kind. So our spirit guides will zone in on those particular gifts to interact with us. If we are visual in nature, it's very possible that you will see or experience your spirit guides in your mind's eye. An inner voice can also pop up, or they can utilize song lyrics, things that you see in everyday life. If you learn by hearing, they'll use those types of things to kind of drop things into your being. If you learn physically, it's been reported sometimes that your body will tingle when you are experiencing interaction with a spirit guide or any spirit for that matter. And as time passes and as you learn to connect with your spirit guide, the relationship will strengthen just like in any human relationship. And you'll know exactly when they're linking up to you. Your instincts aren't to be underestimated in this. Often your spirit guides will use your innate instincts to send you messages or to direct you. Dreams are also a way that they use to communicate with us. And I've said it before, that dreams play a very significant piece in your spiritual life and in your spiritual world. Once you've connected with your spirit guides, start paying close attention to your dream activity. That is a direct route to interacting with you. Your defenses are down, your conscious filters are shut down, and it allows more open communication. The distractions of daily life are gone. They fall away when our eyes close and when we're restful enough to sleep. Also keep in mind, as you try to communicate with your spirit guides, that one piece of research, the advice given is that if you are trying to do this, that you should not share that you're trying to do this, especially with people that are not like-minded. In other words, someone that doesn't believe the same way that you believe, they will discredit your efforts, and spirit guides do not function on a level of negativity. They thrive on positivity. And if you are surrounded by someone that is being negative towards your efforts to do this, it will shut them down. And that's why the researchers say don't say anything to anybody as to what you're trying to do. Because if you're truly wanting to be successful in connecting, you don't need the negativity. You need to brush it aside. Also, listen. Quiet yourself and listen. For example, if you're driving and you hear something inside yourself say, slow down. Don't dismiss this. Have you ever had gut feeling that you should not take a certain street or a certain road, or you shouldn't walk down a certain alley. This is also a very primal way that a spirit guide can communicate with us, because they tap into that instinct behavior, and they use it to protect us and to keep us safe. If something doesn't feel right, don't do it, because if you don't have peace about it, there's a reason. Asking for help and getting in contact with your spirit guides is totally okay. In other words, if you know someone that is a reader or a psychic or a medium, it is totally okay for you to go to them and ask them for help. In fact, that is how I first realized that I had spirit guides attached to me. Was I went to a reader and she explained to me that I had several, and that I should cultivate those relationships. And that's exactly what I did. If you have a heartfelt desire to connect with your spirit guides, be patient. Meditation is a wonderful way to communicate with your spirit guides. Don't expect instant results. Excuse me. But don't give up either. And another thing, keep a journal. That way, if you do automatic writing, your spirit guides can communicate through that. But as well, keep a journal for your dreams, for your meditations. Keep a document of what is going on. And because they are guides, this is one very important thing to remember. They offer positive, uplifting thoughts. Their guidance will honor truth, and it will hold you accountable for your choices. They will not tell you what to do. They will not tell you to place a $1,000 bid on a gambling venture. They will make recommendations to steer you in a certain direction, but the choice ultimately lies with you. That is something not only biblical, but it's just free will is part of life. And the choices that we make carry various different consequences, whether those are good or bad. But they will not be angry with you, and they will not scold you if you make the wrong choice. They have faith in you, and they know what your innate abilities are, and they know what gifts have been given to you. And even if you fall into negative situations, or as I said, make bad choices, they're there to offer encouragement and wisdom, or to get you through the choice that you've made. They will not participate in pity parties. They will not engage in negative activity. Keep this in mind, because if you're experiencing these types of things, if you're getting negative vibes, excuse me, or you're feeling negative, or if you're being berated for making a certain choice, that's likely not a spirit guide. You're likely looking at a negative entity, or even your own ego going wild. Spirit guides can also send us signs to direct us. A reader told me that in a past life I was a healer. So there were so many signs thrown at me before I even knew that they were signs. This was something as a teenager that I was interested in minerals and herbs and vitamins and holistic health and homeopathic health, as opposed to MD physicians, DO physicians. I do believe I wouldn't know what to do without mine, but I had an innate interest in vitamins and minerals and homeopathic healing. And I learned that came from something far away from long ago that I carried with me to this life. And as I've already stated, gut feelings, spirit guides will utilize gut feelings to keep you safe. Your intuition, that voice of conscience, those are all things that act to protect us from harm. And when you happen on a situation, listen. Stop and listen to what's being said or what you're feeling. Each day we come into contact with people, and this is another source that they'll use to get in touch with us and to do what they do. They will link us with individuals, even if it's for a brief time. They will put people in front of us that are meant to give us something. But we too need to give back to them as well, because we're being put before them too. It's a two-way street. So you may not understand why you're being put in the path of someone else, but there is a purpose. Another thing that people talk about in the research that I've looked at is it's up to us to determine what the purpose is for our personal relationships. If they're not going to help us learn something, then we need to reevaluate what the purpose of those relationships are. My take on it is that I believe that spirit guides are a mixture of supernatural entities as well as human being spirits. They are a direct extension of the Creator. I feel that some are assigned to us the minute our soul is created, not our physical body, but our souls. Others join the ranks, I think, as we grow up and learn more about ourselves, but they stay with us throughout every single journey that we have. I believe personally that my paternal grandmother is an ancestral guide, that she was placed with me long before now. But she died in 1969. I was born in 1976. And she either waited on me, because my belief is that I also passed in the 60s. I have a very different point of view of the 60s. I like the music. I like the freedom. There are a lot of artists, musicians that I admire from the 60s. And it's something that I've always known. And again, don't ask me how, it's just something that I know. I believe that I made a very bad choice and ended my life too soon in the 60s. And she died in 1969, so she may have been, I think I died before her. But to now, since 2012, I've learned who she is and how to recognize when she's trying to talk to me. But I also know that she's not acting alone. I believe that I have a master guide, and this is very typical with the research, who filters spiritual stimuli and offers general protection and general guidance. In other words, my primary guide is present with me at all times throughout each day, and they are, or he or she, because you can eventually determine whether they're male or female. Mine, I think, is male. Has the job of filtering spiritual activity. In other words, his job is not only to protect me, but to not overwhelm me. Because when I complete a paranormal investigation, I believe that my master guide is in charge of who can come talk to me and who can't. And if you believe in that, I also believe that he shields me from danger. He guides me on a day-to-day basis. So if you will, and you believe in Christian theology, he's my guardian angel. I believe that my master guide has been directly responsible for saving my life countless times. The 2 times that I can communicate with you is in 1991, it was not law for seatbelts to be used in Ohio at that point. It was September. It was earlier in the week. My mom had dropped off our car for repairs. And as I'm standing outside of the car, waiting on her because she's gone in to pay, I just get this feeling that I need to buckle up my seatbelt when I get in. And I never wore a seatbelt. No one ever did. Well, they did, but I didn't. When I unlocked the door, I got in, and I remembered I need to buckle up, so I did. Less than 15 minutes after we left the mechanic, we were hit by another car on my side. We were spun, I think, 360 degrees. Every piece, every portion of that car was hit, because when we hit, he T-boned us, and when he did, he hit us with such force that the car spun, and it bounced off the telephone pole multiple times. Each time it would spin, it would bounce off that telephone pole. I was conscious through the whole entire thing because I had my seatbelt on. However, my mother did not. And she hit the glass with her head, and she ended up in my lap. And at that time, I was told that God, or even my guardian angel, was acting that day to protect us from harm. And I have no doubt that it was a spiritual situation and that we were not alone. See, I'm tingling right now as I'm talking to you. I've got tingles from the back of my head down my back. It was a spiritual situation. We would have died that day. But there were other plans. The hair on my arm is standing up as well. Those are your indicators that there is a spiritual being close to you, or that the discussion that you're having is of a spiritual nature. In 2013, I was on my way to work. I was at the intersection where I get out onto the main highway to go to work. There were 2 or 3, maybe 3 other cars in front of me, and the light turned green. Across the road, there were cars that were going. The 3 in front of me went, and then they just stopped. Like, I stopped, and the guy across the road stopped, and I thought, what is he waiting on? And I got ready to push the gas, and when I got ready to push the gas, I heard audibly shouting, "Stop." And I stopped immediately, and I mean, this happened like in a matter of seconds. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a semi-tractor trailer, and he was going at full speed through the red light. If I would have pulled out any further, because I mean, I wasn't even out in the intersection. I was still behind the line. But I had gone maybe that much. I had moved forward. And when I did that, I was stop. So I did. He would have killed me. He was a tanker truck. And he would have struck me, and there would have been nothing left of either of us, because we would have been dead. I was alone. Physically, I was alone. Spiritually, I was not by myself that day. I don't know who shouted at me. I don't know who yelled at me, but I have a very good inclination that it was my spirit guide looking out for me. My dog has also been a vehicle for spirit to take care of me. There's at least 3 occasions that I know of that he has stepped in front of me to keep me safe. And who knows how many times that he's been at the forefront of keeping my son and I safe both. He's been used as a protector and a guardian. As hateful and mean as he is sometimes, not to us, he just doesn't like people. He doesn't like strangers, but he's getting old, so he's getting to the point where he doesn't care anymore. But he's been used as a vehicle for protection. It's also my belief that we're assigned several guides. I'm completely aware of the 2 that I've just talked about. I'm still trying to get to know the others. I also feel the presence of my maternal aunt at times, especially when I'm sad or I'm getting ready to cry. I will sense her and my grandmother, my paternal grandmother. They work in concert with one another, but I don't believe my aunt's a spirit guide. I'm learning to communicate with my spirit guides and become more knowledgeable of my past lives. And that has been challenging. My life is sometimes so busy that I can't seem to make it stop. So that's where my dreams come in. And they actually relay information through those paths. And this might explain, during the time in November, I wasn't able to sleep. I was taking medication because ever since I had my lumpectomy, I've been ill, physically ill, catching absolutely everything coming and going. And at one point, I got a really bad ear infection, and they put me on a medication, and I could not sleep. And I felt completely and utterly out of balance. And although the human body requires sleep in order for it to stay healthy, the mind does too. If you don't sleep, your brain cannot rest. And those paths that your guides use to get to you during sleep are shut down because you can't shut down. In times of adversity, I look to my spirit guides for guidance. I do not worship them, and I do not pray to them. I know that they're there to help me. And let me tell you, the month of November and December has been extremely challenging for me in my career. And there are times when I have wanted to throw my hands up in the air and say, I'm done with this. But I know that it's not time. I know what I want to do, but I have not been given the okay to do it. So I know that there's more of a purpose left. And I have a best friend who I've confided in, who is also like-minded in spirituality. And she too has come to the realization that we have a job to do, and that it's much bigger than us, and it's not up to us to say when it's time to leave and when it's time to stay. So with that, if you have any questions about spirit guides, you can email me, and that will be in the credits. You can email me. You can contact me through my website, and you can also contact me through my blog. Other than that, I hope you have enjoyed the first episode of 2014, and I will see you next time where we will be talking about orbs. Thank you, love and light to all of you. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in this great big world. See you next time.